All right, y'all, welcome to the show. If you are watching this or listening to this, I am currently on my honeymoon with Crystal at the moment. We just got married. Fun, good times, loving it. And this has been recorded just a little bit before it actually drops. I wanted to make sure that you guys had some news stories, you guys had some interesting and fun content while I was gonesies. So I'm gone, but I'm not really gone because you're still getting some new, fresh stuff here, but it's just not, this wasn't recorded today is the point. But anyway, got a bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about, and I should be back in a week, but don't worry, stay tuned, whether you're listening to the Kyle Kulinski show on Spotify or you're watching, the show on YouTube, because stuff will continue to drop throughout the week while I'm gone, regardless of the fact that I'm gone. We got some Kyle and Corin action for you. We got this, what you're about to see now, and then also there's potentially some other stuff as well. Stay tuned. All right, so you guys know the drill. Standard shameless plugs. Like, subscribe, click that bell icon so you get a notification every time a video drops. Support the show on Patreon below. I deeply appreciate that. We never talk to corporate advertisers. You guys fund this show. We do a bottom-up, grassroots style. So hook a brother up with a Patreon subscription or a Substack subscription of Crystal, Kyle, and friends. All right, let's go ahead and dive into it. So, Tennessee proposed a law that bans drag shows in public places. This is part of, this wave of legislation that we've seen around the country where they try to crack down on the LGBTQ community, specifically more these days, the T part of the community. There's all these anti-trans laws that are popping up all over the place. Now, when they started down this path, the argument that many on the right made was like, look, man, we're reasonable people. All we're concerned about is the sexualization of children. This is the argument that they made. Now, when somebody makes that argument, I think reasonable people go, well, of course, nobody wants kids to be sexualized. That's crazy. So, yeah, we'll hear you out. We'll listen. But then what you learned over time was this never had anything to do with protecting children. This had a lot more to do with just cracking down on the LGBT community in general. So Lizzo decided, I guess she was doing this performance in Tennessee, and she decided, I'm going to clap back at this Tennessee law, which would ban drag shows in public. And she invited drag queens to perform with her on stage. Okay, so here, let me play this, and then we'll get to the reaction. I'm going to mute it just because I don't want to get a copyright strike, and you might for the music playing, but you could see Lizzo here. For those of you who are watching, you can see this. Lizzo is performing with drag queens in a place that is cracking down on drag queens. So, definitely a bold move, definitely a middle finger. But look, ultimately, what she did here really ended up ripping the mask off of the far-right agenda, because Matt Walsh decides to chime in all of his non-wisdom, and he says, throw her in jail. Throw her in jail. Well, hold on now. So, Lizzo performed on stage with adult drag queens. None of this is overly sexualized, right? You could see, this is stuff you see in the middle of the day on cable TV, just casually flipping through the channels. The bright colors, the gaudy outlets. This is not outside of the realm of that which is considered acceptable or respectable in today's society. There's nothing about this that's like, oh my God, somebody's showing some ass cheek or somebody's showing some nipple, or that's not happening, right? So here you have a celebrity, a singer performing with adult drag queens at a show, nothing too salacious going on, and he says, throw her in jail. Well, what happened, Matt? I thought it was about protecting kids. No, it turns out it's not about protecting kids. It never was about protecting kids. And by the way, these guys all let it slip at one time or another. Michael Knowles famously said, eradicate transgenderism. There was a tweet he had as well where he indicated he thinks transitioning or gender-affirming surgery should be illegal even for adults. Matt Walsh, same thing on Twitter. He let the mask slip a little bit, and he said the same thing. No doctor should be allowed to perform any gender-affirming care. Like, okay, just say that. Just say it from the beginning. Just be crystal clear from the beginning. Don't do your little Weasley tap dance and, oh, what I really want to do is protect the kids. Save it. We all know what it's really about. So just come out and say it. Because look, if they're upfront with what their actual beliefs are from the beginning, then this stuff never would have took hold. Why? Because normal people will be like, huh? It's kind of brazenly anti-freedom to say this from Lizzo goes too far. And this Tennessee law is brazenly anti-freedom too. Banning drag shows in public places. Not every drag show is sexualized, and not everything is targeted at children. So look, we know what they're doing here. They think there's a lifestyle that they would call degenerate, if they're being honest about it. There, if it were traditional family values and religion and conservatism. And so it's like, you got to have the mom and the dad and the dog and the 2 kids and the white picket fence. And everybody needs to repress every feeling and emotion they have and sit there with their faces red, eating a shitty dinner together like, oh, isn't everything lovely here? Oh. They don't want people to be themselves. They don't. They want everybody to fit neatly in their little boxes. You know, this is your role in society and you shall accept it. And anybody who colors outside the lines, it's how dare you. It was how dare you when the gay rights movement started. Now it's how dare you with trans people, with drag queens. And they should just be more upfront about it. And they should have never done the Weasley stuff at the very beginning, pretending it was about kids. It's not about kids. It's not about kids. It's never been about kids. It's all about these are degenerates. We don't like them. And we want to crack down on them and take away their freedom. And by the way, Matt Walsh did a response video to me one time. I forget what the specifics were. Oh, I think it was about the drug war or something. And he said very plainly, like, I don't value freedom like you value freedom. Okay, great. Hat tip to you. Let's move along. I win. I win that debate. Because you know what? It is a very uniquely American perspective in many ways to value freedom. Because when it comes to social issues, I don't want to control you in any way. I want you to live your life however you see fit, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. Because that is the least bad option imaginable. I can't control you. I can't tell you who you are, what to do. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, God bless. You want to become a professional bowler? By all means, go do that. You want to dress up in assless chaps and do adult dancing at a strip club or something? By all means, go ahead. Like, it's none of my business. And it's none of his business. So I actually do value freedom. And he does it. Okay. Well, now we know. They're letting it hang out more and more. But again, my main point is they should have been very clear from day one. It was never about the kids. It's never about, what they pretend it is about. It is clearly about being authoritarian, restricting freedoms, and jailing people over things like this. Could you imagine being that authoritarian? Locking people up? Because, like, what you just saw right now, literally a 12-year-old could be watching it, and I have no moral qualms about it, because what you're seeing here is par for the course. It's nothing. This is not scandalizing anybody, but he wants to throw her in jail over it. Okay. All right. Well, at least you're clear now where you stand. I would like for him to keep showing his deranged colors more and more, because it's more fodder for entertainment for the rest of us and more mockable content for me. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.